All right. Welcome to Crypto News and Investigative Reports. Hey, welcome to Crypto News and Investigative Reports. I'm glad you guys are joining us. This is our first shot at it. I've never done a live stream on my channel. I usually just report the news and do research and report the research, the deep rabbit hole type research type stuff. So this is our first shot at it. You know who I am. I'm Rob Tech. This is
Art Maurice.
Art Maurice, and we're going to talk a little bit about ETFs. And I think that's an important issue because there's a lot going on regarding ETFs, and we've been hearing about ETFs. I know, and I've been in this since 2017, even way before 2017. We've still been hearing about ETFs. But before we do that, I want to just kind of get the numbers from CoinMarketCap and just see where we are in terms of the numbers, and then we'll move back into our discussion on ETFs. By the way, the name of we're going to name this program that we're doing here, Art and I, we're just going to call this the future of money. Okay. All right. So Bitcoin is at $8,021.12. Ethereum is at $175.78. XRP is at 25 cents. Bitcoin Cash is at 242.91. And number 5 spot now is really weird. It's Tether. It's $1. And that's pegged to the United States dollar. So supposedly, and so it's normally $1. I haven't seen much shift in Tether. Anywhere between 98 cents and 101 is where it's always shifting. And I'll do Litecoin, which is the 6th virtual currency, cryptocurrency, and it's down. It's at $55.26. So we see a lot of red in the market today. Look like a lot of stuff is all down.
The Dow was down too.
Yeah. So we got a lot of negativity going on in the market today. But, there's volatility. Things go up and things go down. All right. So with that being said, I wanted to, one more thing before Art and I really get into this is I want to kind of start with the latest news. And I want to give you that. I was just looking at SEC news with ETFs. Hang on just a second, folks. Yeah, here we go. The SEC gives Bitwise another spin at the ETF wheel. Here we go again, guys. Bitwise crypto ETF returning for another second SEC review. How long are we going to have to be dealing with whether we're going to have an ETF or not? The third one, SEC reviewing Bitcoin ETF denial. Will it make a difference? Okay, Bitcoin ETF, SEC to review the rejected Bitwise proposal. So that don't really sound.
Same story, right?
Same story. We're getting stuck on it. And it goes on and on and on. So U.S. SEC takes second look at Bitwise Bitcoin ETF. So that's all the news. All the news is about is about the ETF. Sorry about the shaking, guys. All right.
Hands off the table.
Hands off the table. Here we go. All right. So like I said, welcome to the future of money. We're glad you're joining us. So let's start with if you have any questions, please go ahead and type those in, and we'll be glad that we have somebody joining us, and we'll get to those questions, by the way. All right. So once again, thank you for joining us. Let's start with the question number one we have. Art, why should I buy a Bitcoin ETF?
Okay.
That's the number one question. I don't know if you've ever asked that question. I've asked that question, and I kind of, after talking to Art, I understand now a little bit better about what a Bitcoin ETF is. In fact, what's the ETF? Let's start there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start there.
So the best way to describe an ETF is to match it up with a mutual fund. ETFs and mutual funds are almost exactly the same. The difference is mutual funds have a person, you hire a person to manage those accounts, to pick the stocks that they feel will make the most money, and they try to beat the market. The ETFs are just an algorithm, and you just buy it and it goes in. Most of them have no fees.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So no fees. Huh?
No fees. So they're a lot cheaper, and usually if you do the index ETFs, there's the the main ones are the spiders, which is the S&P 500, the diamonds, which is the Dow index, and the Qs, which is the NASDAQ index.
Right. Okay.
And usually, you're shaking it again.
Oh.
Hands off the table.
All right.
So the thing
No
is,
fees.
no fees, but mutual funds came out in the beginning of the 1900s.
Okay.
And they were mainly for rich people who were doing the stock market. And what happened is right around the 1970s, corporations wanted to kind of move out of pensions because pensions were expensive. And this one guy, Ted Banna, in 1978.
Who's that guy?
No, it's true. Ted Banna was the
Okay.
guy that wrote up for the IRS code to start 401ks.
Okay.
All right, and in about 2 years or 3 years, 1981, the IRS modified their tax code and it allowed it. And within 2 more years, more than 50% of the corporations were doing 401ks. It was way better than,
Wow, okay.
than pension. For them, it was way better because it's
okay.
cheaper. Pensions, if you can get a pension, that's way better than a 401k. All right, but this got in, and mainly Ted did it to give his clients a way to skirt the taxes, right? A way to avoid getting taxed because they didn't have a pension, and he figured this out. Anyways, 401ks came, and the best way to invest in 401k is to buy a mutual fund. So if you've ever had a 401k through a corporation, most likely they give you this list of mutual funds, and you pick the one you want. Now, along around 1900s or so, 1990s.
Ooh, I was going to say that was a long 1900s. That was a long time ago.
ETFs came in the 80s, but didn't get popular till the 90s.
Okay.
And mutual funds were going really strong because the 90s were hot. They didn't care that they were paying.
It was a real bullish time in the market, wasn't it? It was super
so
bullish.
Everyone didn't care if they were paying a fee because they were making 20, 30%.
Yeah.
But then 2000 came, and 2001, the bubble happened, the dot-com bubble, and everyone said, well, hey, I'm losing money and I'm paying you a fee. I don't like that. So then ETFs started becoming more popular because there were no fees, and that's basically it. The ETFs are an algorithm that picks the stocks for a certain index, or if you're in a sector, you could be like in the financial sector or the technology sector, it'll pick the stocks for that. So there's no fees unless it's set up by, like, there's a Fidelity, I think it's called iShares, and that's an ETF, but it's really, really low fee, but it does have a fee.
So that's what was attractive about ETFs.
Yeah, the fee structure.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was huge.
All right. Let me ask you this about ETFs. What about investor protection?
Yeah, well, so it's just like a mutual fund. You're buying all these shares. The whatever investment bank that you're going through, or Fidelity or any of them brokerage firm, they'll hold it for you. So they have insurances and stuff. So everything's covered. And I mean,
explain that a little bit for the people out there that don't know where the fund is being held. I mean, where Bitcoin is being held. All right. Like if you buy an ETF, where is the Bitcoin?
All right. So
a Bitcoin ETF, by the way.
Well, let's just compare the two. So if you buy Bitcoin,
all right,
you're holding it, right?
Right.
And you can hold it on your computer, or you can get these storage sticks where you put it in, so you can have it around your neck or whatever, so that nobody can steal it from you, right? You're worried that someone might hack your computer.
Yeah, you can put it on a Nano, right?
A Nano,
you can put it on a Nano. All right.
But currently there is no Bitcoin ETF. But if there was one, and you bought through the ETF, then whichever brokerage firm that you bought it through would hold your ETF. So
you guys catch that?
As an extra added level of security, the brokerage firm, whoever you go through, would then have it, and you don't have to worry about it being stolen from you because they reserve it. Most